We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Biden bank records released, China's economy struggles, bank woes, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's the news you need to know. The House Oversight Committee released a third memo Wednesday about the Biden family's foreign business dealings, producing bank records that show that Hunter Biden and his business associates received millions in payments from Russian and Kazakhstani oligarchs when his father was vice president. The 19-page memo, which provides screenshots of redacted bank records, says millions in payments came from Ukrainian energy company Burisma Holdings, as well as Russian oligarch Yelena Burisma and Kazakhstani oligarch Kenis Rakishev, and that then Vice President Biden attended dinners with Burisma Rakishev and a representative from Burisma. Then Vice President Biden met in person for significant periods of time with those individuals or their representatives, the memo states. Then Vice President Biden joined approximately 20 phone calls on speakerphone with Hunter Biden's foreign business associates and attended dinners with foreign oligarchs who paid huge sums of money to Hunter Biden. Joe Biden, the brand, was the only product the Bidens sold. The third bank records memorandum follows two previous memos tying Biden family members to payments linked to entities in China and Romania. The committee says the foreign payments to the Biden family now total over $20 million. The Supreme Court ruled that the Biden administration can enforce regulations designed to keep track of so-called ghost guns that people can build at home using kits available online. The rules also require background checks on buyers. Two members of the court's 6-3 conservative majority, Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, joined the three liberal justices in the majority on the 5-4 decision. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives released the regulations last year after a sharp increase in the availability of the untraceable guns. The High Court's ruling pauses a lower court decision against the regulations, allowing them to be enforced while the case goes through the courts. Beijing on Wednesday reported that its exports to the rest of the world plunged in July at their fastest pace since February 2020, as Western manufacturers reduced their reliance on Chinese suppliers. The decline threatened to slow China's recovery from the coronavirus crisis, despite government efforts to stimulate the world's second-largest economy. Nomura economists wrote in a note to investors that exports will probably keep falling through 2023. China's National Bureau of Statistics also reported that consumer prices fell 0.3% and producer prices fell 4.4% in July, compared to a year earlier, as demand remained weak despite the lifting of pandemic restrictions. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is expected to impose new restrictions on U.S. investments in several advanced industries in China, including quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and advanced semiconductors, according to a report in the New York Times. Supporters of the move say it's necessary to protect national security. The restrictions, which would bar private equity and venture capital firms from making investments in those sectors, are part of a U.S. effort to reduce the flow of dollars and expertise to China. Geopolitical tensions have taken a toll on China's economy. The Red Cross on Monday started using new individual assessment standards that will allow more gay and bisexual men to donate blood for the first time since the HIV/AIDS epidemic began. The updated screening process, approved in a federal rule change earlier this year, will lift a blanket ban on donations from gay men. Instead, would-be donors will be asked to wait 3 months after having had anal sex with a new or multiple sexual partners before giving blood, because anal sex has a higher chance of spreading HIV than other sex acts. The Red Cross, which provides 40% of the nation's blood and blood products, said the change would make blood donation more inclusive while keeping the blood supply safe. Moody's cut credit ratings for 10 small to mid-sized banks. The rating agency also said it might downgrade some of the biggest U.S. lenders, including U.S. Bancorp, Bank of New York, Mellon Corp, State Street Corp, and Trust Financial Corp, under a continuing review of the strength of the industry. Moody's said in a series of notes that its review of the banks was prompted by higher funding costs, potential regulatory capital weakness, and rising risks tied to commercial real estate loans amid weakening demand for office space, according to Bloomberg. Collectively, these three developments have lowered the credit profile of a number of U.S. banks, though not all banks equally, Moody's wrote. S&P Global has dropped an alphanumeric scale it launched in 2021 to score publicly rated entities in some sectors and asset classes on environmental, social, and governance (ESG) factors when assessing their credit quality. We have determined that the dedicated analytical narrative paragraphs in our credit rating reports are most effective at providing detail and transparency on ESG credit factors material to our rating analysis, and these will remain integral to our reports, it said in a statement released on Friday. S&P Global, which is one of the world's largest raters of corporate debt, said the decision would take effect immediately. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.